I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that have taught this truth and continue to teach this truth. Shalom to you sincere Akim and you sincere sisters that are steadfast in this truth. We're going to jump right into this. This is the final chapter in the series of Esther, books 3 through 9 we went through. And at the end of this read, we'll get into my final thoughts and some precepts, and then we'll close out. So without any further delay, let's get this cooking. Now, in the 12th month, that is, the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all the people, and all the rulers of the province, and the lieutenants and the deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan, the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men, and Pashandatha, and Dalphon, and Aspatha, and Poratha, and Adalia, and Aradatha, and Parmashta, and Arisa, and Arida, and Vajazatha, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king, and the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is thy petition, and it shall be granted thee? Or what is thy request further, and it shall be done? Then Esther said, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged on the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan, but on the prey. Okay, and so the prey is just simply spoil. All right? But on the prey, they lay not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's province gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew their foes 75,000, but they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled themselves on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. For the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both near and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them for sorrow to joy, and from mourning into good day, that they should take them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pur, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. Now, I went into that, casting pur, casting lot in earlier into the series, and so you'll have to climb back into those lessons and give it a listen if you're interested. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name Pur. Therefore all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. Then Esther the queen, daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm the second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according to Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed from themselves and for their seed the matters of fasting and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. And so Um, you know, you know, one thing I want to throw this out there. Okay, so let's get into some final thoughts. Okay, now this book, or I shouldn't say this book, but this particular event is another one of my favorite events that have taken place. And the reason being is that it illustrates Yahweh's mercy on us while we were in captivity to the Persian Empire. Because that was mercy, you know, you know, raising up Mordecai and Esther to do what they did, you know. And so uh, um, for them in that situation, okay. And so also, um, I'd like to put a thought out there, and don't forget this. Um, there is no new thing under the sun. Never forget that. And so a lot of people, um, they, they look at the Bible as something that happened in times past and it has no relevance to what's going on now. No, BS. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay. And that's why I throw out that thought of, and hold that thought tight. There is no new thing under the sun. Matter of fact, let's get a precept. All right. Let's get a precept here. All right. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. All right. And so, again, you know, um, uh, this book is our book of our history. You understand? Okay. And so, uh, to sum it all up, I love this example, of Yahweh's mercy. Okay. And so this mercy will be granted to us again in the end, in the last days. You understand? In fact, we're in the last days. What am I talking about? We're in the last times. We see prophecy and signs all around us, you know, huh? You know, unmistakably, you know, you know, the man of sin is being revealed right before our eyes and the world. Okay. I'm gonna get into that. I'll get into that. Matter of fact, I'll get into that in another lesson. But I don't want to get off talk. I don't want to get off track here. Okay. But there is no new thing under the sun. And so reads like this, in a nutshell, what I'm saying to you is that reads like this should be a faith booster. Okay. Strengthen your faith. Whatever you're going through, throughout your day, whatever hell, that is upon you, you know, you know, reads like this are a faith booster. Okay, so it boosts and strengthens the faith. You understand? That Yahweh will have mercy on us, especially when you follow His law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Okay, and so let's get into another precept. You know, another one comes to mind here. Hmm. Okay, Baruch 4 and 6. Okay. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies. For you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to our power, the Most High. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and you have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Okay? And for those that are wondering, why were we in that predicament under the Persian Empire? It's because of what I just read to you. You understand? Huh? Huh? You know? Because they were doing back then what the hell is going on around us right now. You understand? Huh? Huh? And I just read it to you. Okay? Let's read it again. All right? You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, our power to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies, for you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not unto our power. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and you have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Okay? Okay? Another precept comes to mind. All right? I ain't done. Hold on a minute. Let's get in another precept here. I ain't done yet, man. Judges. 2 and 14. Let's get this. And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Now, who does that fit? That fits us. You understand? Okay? And we just read why. Okay? And that's why we were, and now to tie it all and bring it all back home into this particular lesson, that's why, we were, in captivity over there under the Persians and every other captivity that we were in. Okay? I'm just getting straight to the point. You understand? All right? But, let's close with these thoughts. Okay? I'm going to bring it all the way home. We're going to close out on a high note. You understand? Okay? Because when you come back and you serve Yahweh, okay? Serve Yahweh, okay? By what? Obeying him. Obey, by following the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? All right? Serve Yahweh. Okay? Let's get into a final thought here. All right? Let's get into it. Right here. Okay? And so basically what I was just saying, serve Yahweh. Okay? In other words, fear Yahweh. What is fearing Yahweh? Serving. Let's get into it. It's written right here. Let's get into it. All right? Fear of Yahweh. The fear of Yahweh is honor and glory and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. The fear of Yahweh maketh a merry heart and giveth joy. and gladness and a long life. Whoso feareth Yahweh, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. To fear Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. She hath built an everlasting foundation with men, and she shall continue with their seed. To fear Yahweh is fullness of wisdom, and fulfilleth men with her fruits. She fulfilleth all their houses with things desirable, and the garners with her increase. The fear of Yahweh is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gift of our power. And it enlargeth their joy that love him. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them to honor that hold her fast. The root of wisdom is to fear Yahweh, and the branches thereof are long life. The fear of Yahweh drive away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. I'm going to stop right there because that just, that broke it all the way down. Ain't no more rap. Ain't no more talk. All right? That got straight to the point. Either you get it or you don't. He that have an ear, let him hear. Okay? That's it. On to the next lesson. I hope you enjoyed this series, final thoughts and the commentary. Thank you for listening. Shalom.